and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariana Jasmine, and my Twitch chat keeps telling me to react to a woman called Brett Cooper. I don't know who she is. Let's hope I don't lose 10 brain cells. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and let's get into it.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. I am so excited about today. I'm actually smiling, and it is genuine because we have a palette cleanser today. The episodes for the last couple of weeks, they have been, fun, but they're heavy hitting. We're dealing with like gross, disgusting cultural stuff. All right, we're gonna start off with this one.
I had a neighbor confront me for using the women's restroom. I lived here for 4.5 years. Everyone should know that I'm a trans woman.
You know what? I'm just going to say it because I'm afraid that if nobody says anything and stands up for this type of behavior, then scared women and girls are going to be the ones paying the price for this. When are we going to draw the line? Because the idea of a grown-ass man walking in after my daughter to the locker room or to the restroom or whatever horrifies me, and it should for every single parent out there. All this looks like to me is a way to push predatory boundaries. Biological women's right to privacy is being challenged by this ideology, and society is trying to become so inclusive, all while simultaneously excluding and disregarding the real fears and boundaries that biological women have.
And that's because biological women are now lower on the totem pole. For a long time, women were an oppressed class, and now we don't get to say shit because there are many more people that are intersectionally more advantageous than us.
You know what I think it is? This is my 2 cents. I think white women for a very long time have been put on a pedestal, especially when you look at the history of feminism and feminist movements in America. White women were constantly put on a pedestal while women of color had to fend for themselves in their own lives. And many of the times when women had feminist wins, it did not necessarily automatically attribute to women of color. Women of color would have to fight 3 times harder, 3 times longer in order to get the same benefits that white women would get. And we have seen this in history multiple times, especially in the early 1900s. When we have this new age, this new era that is accepting of trans people, of different intersectionalities that include women, whether you are born biologically assigned as a female or not, that directly attacks white women. It is a huge insecurity for them because they have always been put on this pedestal, right? Like white women have always been the hierarchy of looks, right? Most of the time they've gotten the rights of women that women of color and other women did not receive, right? White women within our society, and not just our society, have been put on a pedestal. You see this in Asian countries, you see this in India where they still have a caste system. Even in Iran, people who have fair skin and colored eyes are put on a pedestal to some degree. So when white women, especially conservative white women, see trans people or people who are transitioning or people who in any shape or form threaten their power, they don't like it. For me personally, I'm more worried about the people who are around me that may sexually abuse my child, because statistically that is way more likely than someone random. If you statistically look at the facts, the people that you know who are in your inner circle are more likely to sexually abuse your child than a random person in the bathroom. So when we're talking about women who are under the criteria of TERF, right, who do not include trans women as women, know that it's from a place of feeling threatened, because that power of them being put on a pedestal is slowly getting ripped away from them, right? And it's rooted in anti-blackness, colorism, because even when you look at feminist movements in America, it was always divided. You know what's crazy? Actually, the white women in America wouldn't even allow women of color to join them in feminist movements. So they were actually forced to go off on their own and create their own feminist movements with their own groups of people, right? Because white feminists wouldn't accept them. So of course, trad women, white women feel threatened by the idea that other women who are not them are being put on a pedestal. And let me just say one more thing. In America, a white woman most of the time has to worry about sexism. Their feminism is not intersectional. Maybe if they're queer, it can be intersectional within the, LGBTQ plus umbrella. But in general, women of color and or black women face many more difficulties, many more hurdles socially than white women do in America. That's why we call it intersectional feminism. I'm so sorry, to me, it seems like they're finding shit to be mad about. I don't know any simpler way to put it. Because if you are threatened by a person who's living their best life, does not feel like they are the gender that they were assigned at birth, and wants to transition, if you're threatened by that, you have more things to worry about and work on. Because there are bigger fish to fry in this world than being worried about that, in my personal opinion.
And they get precedence. And even if we are saying, this is uncomfortable, this is wrong, this makes us feel awful, the way that you're talking about us, the way you're imitating us, they just don't care about what we have to say. When we talk about the bathroom ordeal and, men being allowed in women's spaces, we're not saying that every trans person is a predator. That's wrong. That is not what it is. Allowing men into women's spaces, opening that door is just opening up the opportunity for predatory behavior. Women and their children and young girls should feel comfortable going into locker rooms, going into public.
You want me to be honest with you? If I walked into a locker room full of white women who are cops, I would feel way more uncomfortable than 10 trans people, because I'm not threatened by the things that she's threatened by, because she doesn't need to be threatened by cops. That's exactly what I mean by this. When you have to find things to be mad about, you end up becoming a TERF, because there's so many better things to be mad about than that.
Bathrooms, safely and privately, not having to worry about some guy being a creep next to them. And obviously that could happen anyway, because people who want to be creeps will always find ways to be creeps and be criminals. But we are now socially saying this is acceptable. It is fine. And if a man is in the stall next to you, it's probably because obviously he is transgender. You can't say anything. And then if
you know what's crazy? The men who actually end up sexually abusing women or etc. are not trans women. They are your pastors and priests, your police, everyday common folk. I haven't been able to see 5 different cases of a trans woman being aggressive or sexually aggressive towards a child. But you know what I do see on a daily basis? Teachers, priests, pastors, cops, politicians. It's almost as if you're making an issue out of something that's not an issue. Now, if there was a lot of statistical proof, I would hear that argument out, but there is no proof for that. The proof is with the pastors, with the priests, with the cops, with the teachers, with the politicians. But you actively ignore someone like Matt Gaetz, who has gone under federal investigation for allegedly paying a minor for sexual conduct. But then you want to be mad at a non-issue. And the fact that this video has 3.3 million views is insane. It's insane. It's almost as if having wild views nowadays is like, it's almost like she's rage baiting. It's all about the rage bait. When the world is flaming, you're rage baiting on dumb shit.
and if you say anything about it, you're going to be labeled as a bigot and a transphobe. That's wrong. We should not be afraid to say, I am uncomfortable, I feel unsafe. Somebody commented and said, I am done accepting the delusion. We've nearly accepted ourselves out of existence, which is a great way to put it. All right, here's another video.
I don't want to be referred to as a womb owner. I don't want to be referred to as a pregnant person. I don't want to be referred to as a bleeder. I don't want to be referred to as a birthing person.
I have literally never heard anyone refer to a heterosexual woman as a bleeder, which is what I mean by rage bait. This is rage bait.
I don't want to be referred to as a chest feeder. I don't want to be referred to as a cis woman. I am just a woman.
I see a lot of comments and tweets from people and they say, well, we're not asking you to say these terms. Like, it's fine if you want to be a bigot. If you do use those terms, then you're being accepting, you're being a good person, but not everybody is saying that. Like, no, this is coming from doctors. Have you seen the videos of literal OBGYNs saying, can we stop using the word mother? Can we stop using the word breastfeeding? You're a birthing person and a chest feeder. You're not a woman. You're just a person who menstruates. Stop.
Oh my God, it's because they use those terms in medical settings so people can feel more inclusive, because a trans male can still be a breastfeeder, can still become pregnant. Like, it's literally only to make people feel more inclusive in certain environments. I'm sorry, if I have to call someone, if I have to say, oh, pregnant people, in order for someone to feel comfortable to go get a pap smear, I'm gonna do it, because if they don't get a pap smear, they might get cervical cancer and die. And I don't want to be dramatic, but that's how these things work. If you don't make people feel comfortable in the medical field, they're not gonna go see their doctor. Okay, okay? I know many people who have insurance that still avoid the doctors because they just simply do not feel comfortable, or they don't feel like their doctor cares about them, especially when it comes to women of color and people of color and black folks. So if saying pregnant person is going to make someone feel comfortable enough to go get a damn mammogram and a pap smear, then you're gonna do it as a doctor, because your duty is to make every single person that walks into your office feel comfortable to get a damn examination, whether you agree with the rhetoric or not. As a doctor, you make that promise to serve people, no matter if they're criminals, no matter if they're saints, no matter if they're trans. You have to serve and protect and treat people the same exact way, no matter who they are or what kind of money they have in their pocket. If they come in your office, you have an obligation to treat them and make them feel comfortable. And if calling them a pregnant person makes them feel more comfortable, then you're gonna fucking do it. It's that simple.
Boiling us down to just pieces of our anatomy. I am so much more than the way that my body inherently works. And I don't know why that's controversial to say. We have worked so hard to get to a point in our society where women are not objectified. I mean, you know, sort of. And now we are literally letting them re-objectify us once again in a different way. But we are still an object. We are still a utility. Like, I saw this comment under this one, and this girl named Audrey said, like, why do all of the inclusive words sound so dehumanizing? It's because they're objectifying us again. We're being pushed aside. Another girl said, the fact that they are trying to make us seem like we are being offensive by feeling this way, it is sick. Another woman said, yes, in the name of inclusivity, they are excluding women, which to me seems like a new...
This woman literally has a ring and a Christian symbol in her handle. Listen, I have friends who are very religious, and I'm not against religion. If you are a person who is religious and you tend to have more conservative views, fine. That's your prerogative. Just don't push that shit on me. It's that simple. If you're religious and you don't believe in abortion, okay, don't get an abortion. Why are you trying to force half of the women in this country not being able to get an abortion because you believe that Jesus is going to get mad at you? Respectfully, I don't believe in Jesus. I don't care what Jesus has to say. I don't even care what Allah has to say, and I'm Muslim. And I genuinely do identify as a Muslim. So it's just as simple as that. If you don't want to be called a person who is pregnant, then correct. If someone comes up to you and calls you a pregnant person, which I know damn well doesn't happen randomly, okay, but if it does happen, then you correct that person. Say, I'm sorry, I would like to be referred to as a pregnant woman. It's that simple. You don't like abortions? Don't get one. You don't like libraries? Don't go to libraries. You don't like gay people? Okay, don't go to Pride. Stop forcing your beliefs onto me. I don't care. The same way you don't care about my beliefs, I don't care about yours. It's that simple.
New form of sexism. Definitely is, especially because many of the people telling women these things are actually men. I just love that women are feeling brave enough and feeling called enough to make these videos. Here's another one. Oh God, it's Grant.
Day 12 of being a girl, and we're gonna go buy tampons. Let's go.
It's crazy to me that girl and woman has become a costume that anyone can put on.
I love this girl,
all you have to do is just put on some makeup, put on some heels, a dress, and buy some tampons. Crazy part about also being a little girl and coming into your menstrual cycle, which most of us, it wasn't a super fun experience, of being really uncomfortable and embarrassed with buying these products, putting on the products, not being properly educated on how to use them, was that when you did get your period and it wasn't, you know, regular or was hellish or whatever, your doctor's first instinct is to suppress it, to snuff it out, to get rid of your fertility and put you on hormonal birth control, which...
Hormonal birth control doesn't get rid of your fertility. Just saying. There's many women who get birth control and then they get off of it and then they get pregnant. So I'm sure there's cases where you can lose your fertility, but that's... She's making it seem as if it's a common trend, and it's not.
You know, increases your risk for cancer, autoimmunity, severe digestive issues, nutrient deficiency, you know, a long list of stuff that they're like, hey, like, we'll just keep you on from the time that you're 11 to 35 or whenever you decide to come off and want to try to have for kids. But, you know, you might be infertile by then because of the hormonal suppression and damage it causes. And now it's... the small parts that were hard and so frustrating are being glamorized and laughed at and used as like props in a character, in a costume. It's just kind of offensive.
Yeah, kind of is putting it mild.
And see, this is what I mean by white women get offended by things that are non-problems, because I personally do not care if a person who is trans is filming themselves getting tampons. If anything, that makes me excited because maybe then they'll hand out the tampons to women who are less fortunate and can't afford tampons. That's what Dylan Mulvaney was doing. She bought a bunch of tampons and she was like, I'm just gonna put this in my purse and if anyone needs one, I can give it out. I mean, that's way more productive than anything a heterosexual man has ever done, respectfully.
I like what she said there at the end, especially. It is a prop. They are using this to amplify and build out these stereotypes of women that they have perceived. But they don't have any of these lived experiences. If you're an adult,
Buying tampons is not a stereotype. It's a lifestyle, babes. Anyone that gets a period needs a tampon. It is a part of our life. I really don't like these arguments are just not making sense to me.
Dress up however you want. That's fine. But don't walk around making fun of women, making light of what we go through, telling us what we should think about ourselves, telling us what our experience should be and how we need to change the way we perceive ourselves to make you comfortable because now you are a real woman. No, bullshit. We're not doing that.
I don't know a single trans person who has demanded that in person or online, but once they do, I feel like I can comment on it.
Told what to do for centuries. We got to a point where we don't have to do that anymore, so we're not. Somebody replied and said, yes, and it was these people saying gender is a social construct. Wearing pink doesn't make somebody a girl, that now literally just wear pink and buy tampons and they think that makes them women. Excellent point. You cannot just change your gender by adopting a higher pitched voice and acting silly and waving tampons around because you don't know where to put it.
Put them way up inside there as far as they can fit. Oh, geez, Rick.
Doesn't work that way. In addition to women making these videos, which is so impressive to me, men are also making these videos in defense of women. And I mean, I was sending myself videos for hours last night, over the past couple of weeks, actually, when I really started noticing this. You can go search, chest feeder and a few other terms you might have heard in these videos, and they'll pop up. And the creators that are making these videos, again, it's just impressive and it is inspiring. But I also want to show some of the men that are speaking up about this.
So I find it funny that women are expected to change terminology that they've used to describe their own bodies for centuries to accommodate trans women. But what are men doing to accommodate trans men? Or what are men even being asked to accommodate? Because women now have to say person who menstruates, person who's pregnant, chest feeding. But I don't see anyone up in arms trying to change the terms testicles, penis, ejaculation, erection, Adam's apple, prostate. Seems kind of one-sided, doesn't it? And I'm sorry, if you're looking for love and acceptance from someone, the worst way to do that is by kicking in their front door and demanding changes to meet your needs. Because you're basically saying, my feelings are more valid than yours are.
It's not just my feelings are more important than your feelings.
I think that was the wildest whataboutism I've ever heard in my life. He said, y'all are calling women birthing women. What about men? Should I start calling trans men the non-ejaculating, the non-ejaculates? What names should I be saying? How is this fair? How can you be mad at that? When people are using terms like birthing, person who can become pregnant, or birthing people, or etc., these are mainly used in medical terms. No one is going around in the street and going like, oh, what's up, bleeder? How's it going? You need a tampon? I just bought one because I decided to get a gender change yesterday. That's not how it works. Not to mention that trans people have always existed. This is not a new phenomenon that y'all are getting mad at. Trans people have always existed. Listen, I live in Oakland, California. Okay, I am in San Francisco almost every single weekend. And I think it is safe to argue that San Francisco is one of the most liberal parts of America, or so they act like they are, okay? And I have never once been referred to as a birthing person or a person who has a uterus or a bleeder. Not once. The only times that I have had to use those terms is if I was making videos, like for example, collaboration videos with nonprofits that work with people on a very close basis, like Planned Parenthood, where they requested that I use more inclusive wording so that people are more inclined to donate and or go into the facilities and use them. I have never gone into a club and been like, someone told me, hey, what's up, birthing person? What's up, person with a uterus? What's up, bleeder? Are you bleeding? Because I got a tampon on me. That's not how it works.
My feelings are more important than objective reality. I had not thought about this at all until I saw this video, but it is so true. And I'm not somebody that, cries about misogyny or the patriarchy or sexism, but it is interesting that it is women that are forced to make these concessions. Why is it the trans women asking women to do this? I don't see trans men telling men to change anything about themselves. Why is that? Is it just a bunch of narcissistic dudes being like, no, we want to own these female things? I don't get it. What is it? It's just very odd. I saw somebody comment and be like, Susan's apple. That's going to be how we change it now. Somebody said, I get full-blown Handmaid's Tale vibes from birthing person, pregnant person, etc. It's like we're being referred to as a childbearing vessel.
One thing I hate is when white women use the example of Handmaid's Tale. Number one, because Handmaid's Tale was partially based on Iran. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Handmaid's Tale wasn't necessarily fully based on America. It was mainly based on the Middle East and different parts of the world, okay? But number two, I feel like white women have gone through not enough oppression in their life to the point where Handmaid's Tale is the only thing that really speaks to them. A fictional book that was turned into a movie. I just don't know how else to explain it. Like, you have gone through so many non-issues that the only thing that you can really relate to is a book that turned into a movie. A fictional book, by the way, that's based on kernels of truth from different countries. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Literally, yes. And the left loves to claim Handmaid's Tale, which is a fantastic book and a fantastic TV series, by the way. And they love to claim that and say, this is what the Trump era was doing for women. You can't get abortions. We're just forced to be, these utilities. Okay, well, look at the terms that you are applying to us now. We are literally nothing but random body parts and random bodily functions. It's so strange. Somebody else said chest feeding is such a chronically online term. It really is. Like, oh my God, get a life. If you think anybody is
no one has ever called anyone a chest feeder.
Welcome back to the comment
section. What's crazy? I feel like Republicans consistently just rage bait. That's literally what Pearl does too. Like, this is all literally just rage baiting. It's all just rage baiting. That's it. Oh no.
I'm not crazy, right? Like, she looks too much like Ben Shapiro. Like, it's freaking me out. I can't stop. I can't look at this anymore. It's hurting my brain seeing how much she looks like Ben Shapiro. It's weird.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. Guys, we're doing something a little different today. Do you guys know who Hassan Piker is?
The need to humiliate people. Sometimes you need to make an example out of them.
He's Cenk Uyghur's nephew, and Cenk Uyghur.
Why she gotta do him like that? She said, just so you guys know, he has a psycho uncle. The psycho Turkish man is his uncle.
Uyghur is the man who owns and runs Young Turks. Hassan got his start doing Young Turk stuff. Now he is a really big Twitch streamer. And for those of you who don't know about Young Turks, it has a huge reach. It's uber successful. And then likewise, Hassan is the #1 political streamer on Twitch. So good heavy hitters here. I had heard of Hassan before, but I'd never watched a single one of his videos. So I really had no idea who this guy was. But apparently I triggered him and he made a whole video about me. It was part of one of his lives and he posted it on YouTube. It's called Feminized Ben Shapiro. Classic, my friend. Anyway, I'm going to do a response to it and watch it with you guys. I picked out some of my favorite moments, but if you want to watch the whole video, I'm going to link it in the description. You can go see it. Before we get into it, make sure that you like this video, that you are subscribed to this channel, and that you click that little bell so that you know.
Damn, this video got 2.6 million views, and she literally hyperlinked Hassan's video, so she gave him a free shout out.
Let's talk about Brenda Shapiro, who's doing these like YouTube shorts. Apparently, this is part of the Daily Wire. I am in awe. Shocked. They literally, they watched my YouTube channel and straight up were just like, this is what we're gonna do. And they basically set a fake streaming operation. Cadence wise is the exact same.
To start off, his first criticism of me was that this show is too corporate. He talks about how it's produced by Daily Wire, which is true. Everybody knows that.
I love when they have like a fake room too. They created like in a studio. They were like, this is what a Zoomer room looks like. And then she's got like one leg up and this is so bad. What the
right,
dude? This is the most like brand you can get. Industry plant streamer. She's not even streaming. She's not streaming. These aren't from her streams. She might actually stream at certain points, but no matter what she does, it's gonna be all brand. Okay, it's so.
I mean, it's right. She makes it seem like she's a streamer. She makes it seem like she's having a conversation with a viewer when she's not. Although, albeit, I will say she is good at what she does. Like, she pauses. She speaks very clearly. reality. She doesn't use a lot of filler words. She's good at what she does. She's good at being a commentator, but I do think she's also trained at being a commentator. I think Daily Wire picked her up because the Republicans need more Gen Zers on their side. But I'm willing to bet that most of her viewers are not Gen Z or the younger generation. It's more than likely the older generation. So they put this basically Daily Wire industry plant to speak to the younger generation, but in reality, she's really speaking to the older generation or the trad wives that happen to be our age or younger millennials.
Corporate.
Way later than.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Acknowledge that you have a fake set, you fucking weirdo.
Okay. Yeah, it's branded. I don't know what to tell you. Also, are you offended that I'm in a studio? And yeah, I'm not a streamer. I have a YouTube channel. I do stream sometimes, but most of my stuff is, you know, you see my memes. They're edited. So yeah, I'm not a streamer.
Like, this is my professional studio in my house, right? And it's still my living room, you know? It's not a real room, as I called.
I love the fact that he felt like it was a gotcha to find out that this was not a real room. I've never hidden that. Like, I post on my story, like, behind the scenes stuff all the time. I have an entire post.
And she does have a point. They make it look like she's a streamer so that she could pander to the younger generation. But she also hasn't necessarily hid that either. And it's pretty obvious that she's kind of like a Daily Wire plant. You know what I mean?
Talked about the creation of the set and why I have a snowboard. It's because I was a competitive snowboarder in college. And so I wanted a snowboard because I actually have one that hangs in my house. But no, I've never hidden that it was a set. You literally just saw the video where I was showing all of this.
Oh my God, literally the first 4 minutes of this freaking video is about her setup. I get it, babes. We get it. We understand. Let's move on.
Segment of my audience is 18 to 24, and then the audience is also split 50-50 male and female. So it's not like I just have a bunch of like 18-year-old boys that are like, oh my God, conservative girl speaking. I think the numbers speak for themselves and that I have a pretty broad reach.
She's never going to have a America deserved 9/11 moment. You know what I mean?
America deserved 9/11, dude. F it. I'm saying it. Like, we totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy
If you think that, you know, having a America deserved 9/11 moment or something like that gives you street cred, that's cool. You do you. I will respectfully disagree. It's probably not something that I'm going to say. I try to think before I speak. But, you know, you do you, man. It's clearly worked. So it just makes me want to wear them more. I personally like them. My producer, who's sitting across from me, tells me that they're stupid and that I need better headphones.
Damn, this video was boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought I was gonna be rage baiting through the whole thing, but it's pretty freaking boring. I respectfully do not. I mean, you know what's crazy? I think this really just proved, first of all, she said that her analytics are half women, half male from the age of 24 to 35, but unless she posts her analytics screenshot onto the screen, I'm not gonna believe that. I am not convinced that her average viewer is Gen Z, people who are genuinely motivated and genuinely believe in what she's saying. Because if you look at every single poll, if you look at every single statistic outside of what she's blabbering about, Gen Z and young millennials largely lean left towards single issues, towards voting, towards federal voting, everything. So I don't believe her when she says that. Unless she were to post her analytics, then I would be like, okay, then I believe it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But unless she posts that, I'm not going to believe otherwise. Going off of that, the fact that she has a producer sitting across from her tells me that this is more so a production, right? Like, we're talking about a full production set. She probably has all of her talking points written out. She probably has everything set up. She's probably getting paid. Not only is she not pouring her own money into it, but she's also getting paid to make these videos. She's not the one editing it. There's other people editing it. There's other people curating the content for her, telling her what to speak on in the day or what like the trends are. And you know what? If Democrats did that, the crazy thing is that leftist politics just has people like myself, people who are literally just putting in time and effort from their own apartments, like trying to make ends meet, trying to, you know, become commentators. But you have people like, you know, Cooper, and like, good for her. She got the support that she needed. She got the production, etc. you know, but unfortunately that doesn't exist for left spaces, and I think that needs to change. That needs to absolutely change, because Democrats have always won based off of, oh, minorities need us, you guys need us, da da da, but it's like, y'all have never actually invested in commentators. You just don't want to invest. So, you know, it's sad. It's one of those things where it's like, I wish it was different, but it's not. And that's why it's so important for you to support your leftist streamer / content creator. And thank you for listening to my TED Talk. All right, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel and everything I had to say. My name is Ariana Jasmine. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more videos like this, and I will see you guys next time.